implemented and created some sounds for this Rollerball Unity project. The implementation was done in FMOD. And the project itself is pretty simple. Just this little player-controlled white ball rolls around and cues these random events. It was pretty much a blank canvas, so we were told to use sound to kind of create a theme and maybe give some insight onto what some possible gameplay could be for this blank canvas. So the first thing I'm going to go over was the rolling sound itself. In this case, it wasn't truly a rolling sound. I was giving the impression of a drill or something that would unearth the gravesite. So as the player moves, we're kind of giving this engine and dirt sound. I didn't take the time, because I didn't have the time to record any real engines here, so I kind of just synthesized an engine-ish sound in Zebra and played with it within FMOD enough to make it usable. So here's the bass sound. Just kind of on a loop there. And this is where the magic kind of happens in the speed tab. Basically, as the player moves the ball, we are given some parameters to FMOD. Excuse me. We're given some data values, and it controls the speed here. And as the player moves faster and faster, we can set up the automation so that the values will move these lanes. So in this first section here, it's the engine itself. You know, we're not moving at all right now. And as the speed increases, the volume goes from non-existent to slowly ramping up louder and louder. And maybe more importantly, to give the illusion of speed, the pitch of the oscillations of that engine sound are getting faster and faster. The next part here is a little bit of dirt. Same kind of deal. Volume goes up, more dirt, faster pitch of the dirt. Then to give the illusion of speed itself, it's just some wind noise. And here I looked up to figure out what the top speed of the movement would be. And when it hits about that point, it cues a shot of wind that's kind of like a little burst, which maybe shows the player, hey, we're going really fast now. Doesn't get any faster than this. It only cues on the way up, not the way down, which you'll notice here. And some more dirt here at the bottom. And altogether, I think it does a decent job of conveying kind of what the player is doing in this game. Here's another little clip within the game itself. So next I'm going to go over how I made a few of these pickup sounds. The first one here is one of the ore sounds of it being unearthed. The first few tracks here are kind of the initial attack or the initial hit or strike. It kind of has most of the heaviness of the sound once combined. Followed by just a little bit of dirt. Most of it's going to be masked with the other dirt sounds, but here's just a little bit more of it. And next are some of the sounds of it falling and hitting the ground. And the last part here is actually a coin drop. Most of these were created with a contact mic on a weight, like for lifting or whatever. Just hitting it, with another metal object. And except the coins. That was actually a coin. I believe this was just another one of those strikes. And then the last part was a little choir sample that kind of was intended to give the player like oh, you found something great, that's wonderful. Just a little motivator, I guess. Simple stuff, just like the sound. And then when it's all combined, it kind of makes a more complex sound of the ore. Okay, another one that's actually in this session. This one was supposed to be the player hitting a zombie corpse. Well, maybe not a corpse since it's still making noise, but a zombie. And drilling a gold tooth out really quickly. My dad had a gold tooth put in the back of his mouth when he was really young, and he always told me when he passed on to pull that out and sell it. So I just thought that was kind of a quirky little sound. Again, I don't think I really need to go through these track by track, but it's just some zombie noise followed by some bones breaking. I got a little pop, like a bubble popping, to give it a little bit more of a cartoon sound. Another clink for the hey, that might be valuable tone. Here we have some more zombie noise, and then the drill. And when combined, it sounds like this. So another pickup sound effect I made was the treasure chest, a classic. I recorded some door creaking with the contact mic. That was a ton of fun. Just loads of those, but I picked the best sounding quick one, and I layered it with the choir once again because we love positive reinforcement for the player, and some clinks for some valuables that are opened after the chest. Once I had these pickup sounds made, I made a new track under the Cube Pickup event, and it is a multi-sound track. I dragged the files into this area and set it to randomize. For the couple that I didn't cover, they're pretty much the same. This one's another zombie sound with some bones cracking. And another ore. Alright, let's talk about the ambience in this project. Like the others, there is an ambience event that's being sent from FMOD to Unity, and a bunch of tracks that are filled with scatterer sounds, which I'll go into in a minute. What's really great about FMOD is that you can really get some great randomization with these scatterer sounds. From what I've done in Wise, you can really dive into specific pannings and even sequence a bunch of different types of pans and really go into detail with that. But from what I'm seeing here in FMOD, it's just really great to have all these randomization options, and it's really simple to configure. So this is a stereo project. We can't get into surround or anything like that, but you might be able to hear here while I preview the combined result that there's some pretty good 3D style things going on with the depth and the panning and just localizing stuff in general. So here it is all together. Now this stuff isn't static. It's mostly there's like 20 or 30 effects, maybe more, that are random, you know? They're switching between them. Some of them are static, like some of these winds. I think with most of these winds, they were just wind sounds kind of looping here. And I mixed in some just kind of weird, you know, modern horror vocalizations, really low into the winds, just to give it something different. Can maybe hear there's some weird stuttering going on slightly at times, some reverse delays and that type of stuff. It's really low, you know. I don't want it to be too obvious. This one I think is more obvious. You can hear some moaning or something. Obviously I don't want it to be that high in the mix. This one, I think it's just crickets. A lot of these sounds, I didn't have animal sounds in general, so a lot of these were free, and I cleaned them up, processed them, tried to make them somewhat different. Crickets in general, I've tried recording a bunch, can never get a very clean recording of those from the locations I've been in. Nothing to that. Now here's the first scatterer track. Basically, there's a region that loops, but there's not one static sound that's playing. There's a bank of different sounds that are playing randomly. So you drop your sounds in here. Got some lead gusts. And you can really dial in each scatterer track, the intervals, how often they play. So in this case, with this track, it's playing between 900 milliseconds or up to 5.5 seconds in between each of these sounds. And there's a polyphony of 3, so up to 3 of those can be active at once. And then you get the minimum and maximum scatterer distance. So this will be your depth, how far away they are, or how close up they are. Let's see what some of these other sounds are. There's your kind of modern classic crap. These, you can't really even pick those out in the mix, but maybe they add something. Animals, yep, this is pretty much all the stuff that I had to find and clean up a bit. Frogs. Tried to pick some animals that are kind of classic, wired into human recognition as being scary. We're hardwired to think snakes are scary just from evolution or that type of stuff. Conditioning. Owls. And you can see that this track is set up a little bit differently. I don't want the animals to be occurring as often, so the polyphony is only at 2. Only 2 of these can occur at once. And the interval is a bit higher, only 2 seconds to 7 seconds they can occur between. And because these are not the wind and need to be a little bit more in your face, the minimum distance is a bit closer. It's a bit closer to you. And the max, we don't want it to be all close, but in general, the range is closer. Thunder is the same deal, can have some overlapping with the polyphony. The distance is pretty wide, if we want some of the initial thunder strikes to occur close to you, that's great, but generally you hear thunder in the distance, so it's pretty far away. And I think I have a little puppy sound, one of my dogs. Just randomly. That one, you can actually choose a set percentage. It doesn't have to equal 100%, but I just wanted a really small chance for that to play. Just because. And here's a few more. Foxes, which really, I wouldn't think of a fox as being too scary, but I guess that's how they sound, and it sounds kind of scary. Another door creak. Those are fun. And here it is all together once again. I'll leave it going for a few seconds so you can hear some of that randomness going on. Thinking that snake's a little loud. So that's how I dealt with the ambience in this project. Alright, so I'm just going to really quickly brief over the music portion. We have the music event here, which is triggered when they hit the music start cube. And pretty much it's just a loop, really simple song. I wanted it to be kind of fun and arcadey, but also kind of a little bit chilling, maybe a little creepy, not too creepy. And basically you set your bars beat, your grid, BPM, which is showed by the lines here. And the real purpose for that, and you can get really precise with this, is eventually the player will get to the music end cue, which would be like a level ending or such, and it will trigger this parameter that will send it to the outro. Again, we got the fun little choir "you did it" sound. And that's set up so that it does it at a musical value, which again you can be more precise with, so that it's not super abrupt and it kind of makes sense, but it's quick enough to be like, alright, here's the end. So I'll show you how those events are set up in the game. Alright, so we're going to start the play music event. There hits this. And as an example of when the player would end the level or such, starts that event and ends the song. And here's one more just final project. Alright, thanks for watching.